The opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Scarefest Television. I'm your host, Wes Forsyth, and the original broadcast date is November 15th, 2019. Tonight's the big night, people. Tonight is our first celebrity announcement for 2020 for Scarefest the 13th. We got a really good guest announcement to kick it off, and the ones we got down the pike are going to be good too. So those of you who made the smart-ass comments in the Facebook group, you can suck it. It's a good guess. Tonight, now, we got several things going on. I'm going to tell you, we're going to do that at the 15-minute mark. 30-minute mark, I'm going to give away two of these to celebrate our thing. This is our $10 gift card to Shakespeare and Company in Lexington, Kentucky. So stay tuned for that at the 30-minute mark. I'll tell you how to win that on Twitter. We will do it on the Twitter app tonight. Our guest tonight is Kid Cadet. Now, this lovely young lady is she's a moderator for GalaxyCon. She's a wrestling ring announcer, a recording artist, quite good, I might add. Does interviews, worked at Disney Radio. So, in other words, she is terribly, terribly overqualified to be on our little show tonight. Also, now my co-host tonight is Brandon Griffith. Brandon Griffith, who is he's slightly involved apparently in the show tonight. But Brandon Griffith is my co-host, and he of course is the co-owner of the Scarefest, who we are here to represent. And that's the opening blurb, people. I got a lot of good stuff now. Stick around with us at 10 o'clock. We will, at the top of the hour, for those of you watching a replay, we do have the BRABOON. The BRABOON, it's a horror movie short. It's not real scary, but it is pretty cool. It's pretty cute. So we graciously, the people that made that little film let us show it totonight. We're going to be doing that. So in other words, we're going to run long. We're going to run at least till 10:15 tonight, maybe longer. Who the hell knows? All right, let's go on and get over it. Kid Cadet, welcome to Scarefest Television.
Thank you for having me. It is an absolute honor.
We'll see how that works out for you. Now, I do want to say, now pass this on to the powers that be. First, I want to give a shout out to Crystal Lynn. She has been so gracious to us at GalaxyCon, getting the whole Scarefest Television media team that we wanted to bring with us involved. She's worked with me very closely to get you involved in the show. I want to give a shout out. GalaxyCon, before I even walk in the doors, is a top-notch outfit. So
I would have to agree with that 100%.
Now, how did you get involved with GalaxyCon? GalaxyCon, everybody, now you may not know it, everyone. Of course, last year was called SuperCon, which incidentally was a suck name. I'll say it because I know some other places named SuperCon. But it was a good convention. Don't get me, we went last year. It was a great convention. How did you get involved with this organization doing what you do?
So I think it was a matter of being in the right place at the right time. I met Mike and Sandy, who are the owners, and they happened to be looking for a new host. And I was there through the wrestling aspect of it. That was always my favorite thing, was wanting to interview wrestlers. And so that kind of got me through the door. And they were having a convention down in Miami. They needed someone to host a panel for Austin St. John, who was the original Red Power Ranger. And I was their go. So that was my first ever panel. And I always say it was being in the right place at the right time.
Now, I want to add one thing to this entire conversation. Of course, you're the host. Now, I don't really know if that's more... they can actually hear that on my microphone there. I don't know if that's more like what I do at the Scarefest, or if it's more... Now, do you actually moderate panels, or are you just like the announcer? What exactly do you do for Galaxy?
I moderate the Q&A panels, yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Now, I just want to, before I bring Brandon on, Scarefest, we really need to step our game up, because she is so much better looking than Joe Louis and his bunch. I'm just going to throw it out there. I love you, Joe, but yeah, this is a whole different game here. Now, here's a softball question for you before I throw you over to Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
Doing GalaxyCon, have you ever had a fangirl moment?
Oh my gosh. Every single panel I have a fangirl moment. To be honest with you, all of the guests that I've had the opportunity to work with, interact with in some way, see them in the green room, my heart skips a beat pretty much before every single panel. I've been very blessed and very fortunate in that way. Some more so than others. I do have my fandoms. I'm a huge fan of Alice Cooper, Mick Foley, Ric Flair, Batista. I just got to host a Q&A for Batista, and it's one of those things where in the moment I like look next to me and I see them sitting next to me and I'm like, wow, this is really amazing. I don't take any of these moments for granted. So yeah, I fangirl pretty much every convention, every single panel.
Brandon, over to you.
Well, I mean, I'm just curious, so moderating the panels and stuff, I've been to a lot of shows over the years, and Scarefest, we do a lot of panels, and panels are so integrated into the con experience. What have you found that really kind of keeps things fresh? Because people get on the circuit and they go from show to show, and so I think it gets, you've got to find new and interesting ways to bring people in and really kind of dig at it. And what have you found to be the most interesting parts of those panels, and how to really get folks in there and keep them entertained?
Sure. Well, as far as myself and the other incredible hosts that we have at GalaxyCon, I think we all bring a certain type of uniqueness. We have one of the other hosts, his name is Patty, and he's really good at finding some obscure facts that maybe no one else has ever asked them before. And someone like myself, I also really like to do deep dives and look at parts of their life that maybe they don't get to talk about as much as normal. So someone like Batista, for instance, obviously we know that he is from the WWE and he's had such an illustrious career, and now he's a Hollywood A-lister in Guardians of the Galaxy. But maybe people didn't know that he collects tin lunchboxes. So that's something that I like to talk about. I just like to find maybe parts of their personal life that they don't get to talk about as much. And one of the things I always do like to ask is, maybe tell us something about yourself that the public really never gets to see. I like when the guests are able to, be comfortable and not have to feel like it's a job and they're there because they have to be. I want them to be able to enjoy the Q&A. And I always like to challenge the audience too before the panel starts to maybe think of a question that they've never heard before. And yeah.
So have you found I always my favorite part of the panels are when the guests get up and ask a question. Have you ever had a really obscure fan question or something that was just a cringeworthy moment? I'm just curious.
Sure. I would say one of the most popular questions I've heard recently is a hot dog a sandwich? Now people wait in line, to ask whatever celebrity they're there to see. And, you're waiting for the question, and is a hot dog a sandwich? And I'll tell you what, I don't know if we have an answer yet. So this is still up for debate.
So how do you go about like researching, like when you're going into like a panel, and maybe it's somebody like you know a lot about wrestling, a lot about pop culture. Like how do you go about like the research and figuring out like which direction you want to go? Like, do you sit down with them beforehand and kind of talk about things, or how does that look on the back?
No, so I would say about a week before a convention, I'll kind of, if it's, let's say, a celebrity from a film that I've never seen, I definitely make it a point to see the film or watch the show that they're from. I like to be as knowledgeable as possible, so I am able to, during a panel, you could have a million questions written down, and then you can have someone like Michael Rooker steal away your notebook and not have any questions, so that you essentially just have to be able to be a conversationalist and go with the flow. And so yeah, I like to just research as much as possible. I try not to watch previous panels that they've done because I don't want our panel to be like any other panel. So I don't want to get swayed by maybe a question that I heard another host ask. So yeah, it's just mostly sitting down on my computer, locking myself in my room. And I do like to take notes because as I was asked before, if I have fangirl moments, I kind of forget a lot in the moment because I am so excited. So I try to have as much time as possible, but also knowing that, I do want it to be a conversation.
And what's your favorite, tell me a little bit about your favorite moderating experience. Like, I know it's kind of a dull question, but you've talked to a lot of people. And I mean, I watched some of them today and just listening to you, and you're really good at just having a conversation with folks. And I think, kudos to you, because I think people are starved for conversation. I think people want that. They want to hear things. They want to hear in-depth stuff, and not just all about you hit the nail on the head. Everybody talking to Mick Foley just doesn't want to know about his wrestling career, things that you don't see on the topic.
Mm-hmm.
Can you elaborate on that some at all?
Absolutely. So for someone like Mick Foley, because I do know him personally, I find that easier. I've had the opportunity to be on the road with Mick Foley. I know that he and I share a passion for Jim Croce, who is my favorite artist. Obsessed with Jim Croce. So whenever we get the chance to, bust out a little bad Leroy Brown, we like to do that, or you don't mess around with Jim. I think I'm swaying from the question a little bit. But what was the question again? Sorry.
Well, I was just curious about the work you put into it, the stuff that you do to get people to open up and really kind of talk about things that people may not realize, or is there a trick to getting people to open up and talk about stuff that normally you wouldn't see on a fan site, or really getting.
So I think before a panel, I always like to meet the celebrity or the guest before the panel, just so they feel comfortable with me and have a 5-minute conversation, just to know that I'm in it, for the right reasons. I'm not here to make anybody feel uncomfortable. I always ask before a panel if there's anything that's off limits that they do not want me to talk about. In the chance that somebody in the audience does ask that question, I can rework it in a way that the guest doesn't feel uncomfortable and the person in the audience doesn't feel uncomfortable either. So I like to just kind of establish, I'm a friend. And one of the best pieces of advice that I was given by my friend Petey was that as the moderator, I'm the accessory. I am the Gucci handbag. I'm just here to make the panelists look as great as possible. And so that's something that is in my accessory to the panelist, and just make sure that they're able to interpret every single question that's asked, and then they just have the best time possible.
So who are you moderating for, in Louisville? What shows do we need to go? What panels do we need to look for to come see you?
That is a great question. I actually don't have my schedule yet. It's been super busy because we're just, on the tail end of Minneapolis, which was a fantastic success. So I'm hoping to have some of the same panels from there. We had Batista, we had Christian, who's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And I'm hoping to have both of those again in Louisville. So if they're watching and they're doing the schedule right now, pencil me in. I'm good to go.
So do you like, I always sit down with my moderators and like, I try to figure out like who's the most passionate about who we've got coming. And we try to work that out beforehand, like just on the back end, you know, like where you know, who do you really want to sit down and talk with? Like how many moderators does Galaxy have? Like
Okay, so we have, let's say 5, but we also have a couple other celebrities that we bring in, like Guy Hutchinson, who does the Drunk on Disney podcast, and he gets to host panels as well. And then also Lisa Correo, who's from Nickelodeon, and she tours with Patton Oswalt. She will host panels as well. So we have a good 5 to 7. And like I said, we're all different, and we all have different fandoms. And I think that's what makes us so unique. And I completely agree with what you said. You place people with who you think that they're the best fit for, and thankfully we have people all over, you know, that work well with all the different panelists.
You ever gotten into an eye with anybody about wanting to moderate the same person?
Say that one more time.
Have you ever gotten like, so you and the other moderators, have you guys ever had to like duke it out over somebody that everybody wanted to interview?
Oh yeah, we duke it out all the time, and I usually win because I got these crazy nails. So like, they don't want to mess with me. Yeah.
No, I would say
no. I'm not serious about that. We normally are very good about divvying things up.
Okay, we need to hop over to.
Sorry, I'm losing the sound here.
We're fine. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna take our commercial break, everybody. We'll be right back. As soon as we come back from commercial break, we have our first celebrity announcement for Scarefest 2020. We'll be right back.
Everyone is talking about CBD oil, and it seems like almost everyone is using it. The research is ongoing, but the apparent health benefits are overwhelming. If you're going to use CBD products, though, what brand should you buy? First, find out where the hemp was grown. Imports are flooding the market. How potent is it? Look for a brand that plainly states its concentration on the label. And look for full spectrum CBD. This means the oil contains CBD and all the other cannabinoids, terpenes, and nutrients that are found in the entire cannabis plant. Look for Blue Leaf CBD oil. Blue Leaf Naturals is a Kentucky proud company. They use only Kentucky-grown hemp, supporting Kentucky farmers and businesses. Visit their website at blueleafcbd.com now and use the code SMILE at checkout for free shipping.
That's right, everybody. We have Tony Todd. We have Tony Todd. Brandon, you didn't even look at the screen. Did you even see the really nifty little video thing I did to make our guest announcements this year?
Here, I'm from Eastern Kentucky, but I've learned how to I can look at 2 screens. I've got the same thing going on here. And yes,
okay. I've worked my ass off to get that little music video clip thing going. And then he's just watching his screen, probably looking at porn or something. Anyway, Tony Todd. Tony Todd. Of course, everybody, Candyman.
That you were able to lay down in the background.
But it's the music. It's music. Anyway, of course, now one of his recent ones that's out is Candy Corn. But you know what? I hate to admit it now. I didn't realize. I knew he'd been in a lot of movies, but he has done some of my favorite TV shows. He was the voice of Zoom in Flash. I had no clue.
You watched The Flash?
Yes, I am caught up on Netflix, and I don't take time out of my important schedule. I binge watch it, but yeah, The Flash. He was on the Orville, which I'm not. I haven't decided if I like that yet. But what was the other one here that just impressed the hell out of me? Then it was just.
He's a horror, and like he was like one of the first movies I watched when I was growing up was like the 1990 John Russo Tom Savini's remake of Night of the Living Dead, and of course he played Jen in it, and so that was one of the first things I ever watched growing up, and like I thought he was amazing in it, and then to this day, Candyman. I'm a huge Clive Barker fan. Like all of his work is amazing. Candyman scared the shit out of me, and like the whole concept of like going in the mirror, like that's one of those movies. Like I watch a lot of. I have a hard time watching that one and like going to the bathroom.
The one that I'm looking forward to seeing, it's not released yet, but I did not. He's in Sky Sharks, which that's one. God, it's been done. It's been in the can for like 2 years. They're putting all this CGI into it and post production work, but I'm looking forward. That is one that we've talked about on the show, and I've seen the previews. I'm really looking forward to that. So everybody, Tony Todd is coming to Scarefest 2020. Now we're going to go back to our guest, Kid Cadet, who is the moderator of GalaxyCon coming up next weekend. That's November 22nd through 24th in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, how long has GalaxyCon? How long have they? Do you know how long they've been doing conventions in general? I realize we'll kind of break it down where they've got 4. But do you know how long they've actually been doing these conventions?
That is a great question. I actually don't. I know it's been a while. I know that Mike Broder started off with smaller conventions in the Miami area, and now they've grown to be, the massive animal that they are now. I don't know how long it's been, though. I honestly don't have that answer.
Well, now, are they still doing Florida? And the reason I asked this, I went to the actual GalaxyCon corporate website, and they, of course, list Louisville, Minneapolis, Richmond, Virginia, I'm assuming, Raleigh, Raleigh's North Carolina. I'm geographically challenged. Now, that's the one that freaked me the hell out, though. I don't think of Raleigh as being that size market, expecting 55,000 people to Raleigh.
That was like
I'll be honest with you. We've already pretty much outsold that venue. The last year's Raleigh was so massive that we had a bunch of the celebrities kind of making a video for the city to show that we need a bigger venue. It is massive. They love it there in Raleigh.
That's an idea, Brandon. We could do that for Scarefest. Only the thing, we don't need a bigger venue. We need more parking. That's what we need. But now that really amazed me, because now Louisville, 20,000 attendees. That's what they're listing on the website. That's what I would have guessed. I will say, I don't know whether to credit GalaxyCon for this or the actual convention center. The crowd flow was very, very good last year, as far as coming in and out, moving around the floor. I never felt bottlenecked or congested. So ballpark, do you know how many warm bodies it takes to do one of their conventions, or at least Louisville, for example?
No, I am not the person that will help with the numbers, but I will say that I do credit it to GalaxyCon as far as line control and all of that. We have a lot of incredible volunteers that are there because they want to be, and they're they need to be and on time.
See, the reason I ask that actually freaks us out, or freaks me out, being a part of Scarefest, because I know how hard it is. I know how much work goes into these damn things. And here we are. We're hometown people. We're here. We're at Lexington. we get to herd all of our volunteers around. And I'm thinking, okay, these people obviously don't live in Louisville. I'm I have to get them actually on the show. I want to know the process to herd that many cats. That's kind of where I was going with that.
A show of that size, like, I mean, GalaxyCon, like you probably have in Louisville, like, you know, if you look at it, it's probably like 30,000 plus. And so when you open up like Comic Cons, like and God, all the logistics and stuff that goes into running a show, especially is it privately owned? Is it just they're independently owned, right?
Yeah, it's owned by Mike and Sandy.
Yeah, and so the amount of effort it goes into putting on a show like the size of Scarefest, which is a very niche kind of, you know, we stick to horror movies. Now, when you open it up to comics and pop culture as a whole, I mean, you expand on, I mean, their attendance, 30, 50,000 people. You know, you think, like, that's got to be at least 500 or 600 volunteers. Like, that is all-encompassing. My hat's off to them, because they really, you know, coming from somebody that deals with the backside of things, like, they have done a amazing job with the Louisville show. And, you know, just one thing that I noticed, like, it's really nice that, you know, a lot of fan conventions, like, you know, the fact that we're both in Kentucky and like GalaxyCon, you know, is in Louisville, Scarefest is in Lexington, and that we can kind of work together. Like, I've really enjoyed that, and like, I think it's something really nice to have, and I found that to be a very big positive. You don't get that a whole lot, and so it's been really nice, and I really enjoy your guys' show. It's really nice.
Well, I wish I could take any credit for it, but I will definitely relay that message.
Definitely. You're a big part.
Okay, now I've got some questions now. Okay, back to the celebrity side of things, since that's what you know.
Sure.
In your now, this I'll just let you pull from history, and also you don't even have to name names.
Oh gosh.
Have you ever had any in your panels? Just had any golden turd moments? Meaning, have things went south? A bad celebrity, a question that this went south. Do any of those type of things? Have you had trouble with that?
That's kind of tough to say. Because yes, one name comes to mind, but it was not at a GalaxyCon. It was at a different convention where the guest. Gosh, how do I say this? The guest who is known for a specific role does not like to be associated with a specific role. And so his management let me know that before the panel. So I kind of had to sway the panel away from this very specific role that this guest is known for, and kind of sway the audience in that way too, without me really saying it. Gosh, this is so hard to say without exposing. But I'm not trying to expose, you know.
That's why I ask it that way. Right. I'm not wanting dirt on anybody, but now I'm intrigued, not about the celebrity, about how you manage that, because I have not worked on the panel side, but I do know even at Scarefest we've had celebrities come in. Now, obviously not the same one, because every one that comes to mind is a woman in our experience. But like you said, they have a project that they're well known for, and one forget who it was, but I mean it's our genre. In other words, it was a horror movie that they didn't even want to be associated with, and I'm like, well, what the hell, woman?
Sometimes people will come in here and they'll be like, "Now," and I've seen this firsthand. Like the stipulations are so like no use of vowels during the interview. Only use articles, and like it's very specific. Like you can only ask for talking about certain things, and so yeah, like I can't. I can see where it would make it very difficult, because like I've seen stipulations like placed on those comments. To finish the question, how did you steer the crowd? Now I get it, you know.
So right, the thing that I did was when a person, because when I opened up the panel to kind of talk to the guests for the first 10 to 15 minutes, and the project in question was not talked about, we talked about a bunch of other things, incredible things that this particular guest has done. And the first person in the audience to ask a question was about this project in question. And I was like, well, here's the thing. I was like, we're not going to talk about it today, but if you want to watch the film, it is currently available on Netflix, and you can go home right after this panel and you can watch the film and enjoy it like we all do. And then people started to realize we weren't there to talk about that specific thing, and that was kind of the end of it. It was really easy to kind of get around, because I think it became very apparent that we weren't there to talk about that.
Kudos to you. We're going to take our
Thanks.
commercial break, everybody. When we come back, we're going to do our giveaway. Two $10 gift cards to Shakespeare & Company. We're going to do it on Twitter. As soon as we come back, everybody, you're watching Scarefest Television with our guest, Kid Cadet, representing GalaxyCon. Do you feel lost in life? Do you seem to be stuck in emotions that are not yours? Is your home not the sanctuary it should be? Contact Spirit Mechanics, where they take a team approach to your metaphysical and spiritual problems. Spirit Mechanics specializes in aura cleansing, stone attunement, attachment removal, and house cleansings. Spirit Mechanics tailors their approach to your individual spiritual path and needs. Now find them monthly at the Central Kentucky Mystical Market in Lexington, or on Facebook by searching Spirit Mechanics, that's MECHANIX. Spirit Mechanics, for your spiritual health and well-being. Okay, fans. Shakespeare & Company on Twitter, you have to tag at the Scarefest. Now, you don't actually... Let me explain the rules here. I'm going to tell you what I want you to tag at the Scarefest with. It's just a sentence, no hashtag. Actually, we'll hashtag it. I decided we'll hashtag it. I'm going to make it harder. If you want to win two $10 gift cards, that's $20 that you can spend at Shakespeare & Company Cafe, Bar, and Restaurant, 367 West Short Street, downtown Lexington. Tag at the Scarefest with I love hashtag GalaxyCon. And make sure GalaxyCon's one word, so the hashtag. But that's what we're going to do tonight. On our feed, I want to see hashtag I love GalaxyCon. Even if you don't mean it. Even if you're not into pop culture. Even if you're just here for the paranormal. It doesn't matter. If you want this, that's what you got to do. We'll be right back. Fact truly is stranger than fiction, and this week in horror history, we take a look back at the true horrors of man and the horrors created for the big screen. We begin this week in Cincinnati, Ohio, in the year 1934, where a bouncing baby boy was welcomed into the world. This boy began his life sweet and innocent, but in 1969, he would rob the country of its innocence and effectively put an end to the 60s and free love. We, of course, are talking about Charles Manson, the leader of the infamous Manson family. Although Manson has never been directly linked to any killings, his followers, however, are best known for the Sharon Tate and LaBianca murders. Despite his lack of direct involvement in those murders, Manson will forever be one of, if not the best known, serial killers ever. After his capture and conviction, Manson spent the remainder of his life in a California prison where he died on November 19, 2017. We now take a look back to 1974 in the small town of Amityville, Long Island, where on the evening of November 13th, Ronald DeFeo Jr. walked into a bar and asked for help, stating that his parents had been shot.
When the police arrived to the home at 112 Ocean Avenue, they would discover the bodies of both of Ronald's parents as well as his 2 younger brothers and 2 younger sisters. All of them had been shot to death. Despite his denial of the murders, Ronald would later be found guilty on 6 counts of murder and sentenced to 6 life terms. The home where the murders took place was later sold to the Lutz family, who lived there for only 28 days before moving out, claiming they were terrorized by paranormal activity. These claims later inspired the Amityville Horror book and movie. The movie quickly became the highest-grossing independent film of all time and held that record until 1990. The cryptozoology world had a milestone moment this week back in 1933 in the Highlands of Scotland. A Scottish man named Hugh Gray was out walking his dog along the shores of Loch Ness when he allegedly captured the first known images of what is known as the Loch Ness Monster. Despite this image being debunked, it undoubtedly skyrocketed Nessie into the spotlight and fueled generations of speculation. Horror movie history had a major debut this week back in 1984 when Wes Craven disrupted our dreams and welcomed in new nightmares with the release of A Nightmare on Elm Street. The movie introduced us to one of our all-time favorite horror icons, Freddy Krueger, and skyrocketed the career of Freddy himself, Robert Englund. The movie was also the debut of movie star Johnny Depp.
Okay, still no one has won my 2 $10 gift cards to Shakespeare & Company just by going on Twitter, tagging at the Scarefest with I love GalaxyCon, hashtag GalaxyCon. I'm searching for hashtag GalaxyCon. That's what we're looking for. Brandon, I'm going to let you close out the interview. You got you about 5-10 minutes.
Oh, so I noticed when you show me your, like when you flash the hand, you've got some tattoos on there. Like what? Yeah, what all we got going on there? Like,
on the hand? Oh boy. So a donut, got a rocket ship.
Wait, wait,
huh?
Can you show the donut? I want to see the donut.
I don't know. How well can you see it? It's on my thumb. There we go.
Okay, I see the donut. Got it.
Got the donut. I have a bat. This is so exciting. I have Feed My Frankenstein tattooed on the side of my hands because I love Alice Cooper. And yeah, just like a random array of absolute nothingness, just random stuff.
Did you get to the Alice Cooper? Like, did Alice Cooper do a panel last year when he was in Louisville?
That he did, and yes, I certainly did do his panel last year in Louisville.
I was so disappointed. Like, what? Can tell me? Okay, tell me a little bit about the Alice Cooper panel. Come on, like, I want to know a little bit about it. I wasn't able to go. Like, did you learn anything new, exciting?
I learned something new and exciting about Alice for every panel. I've hosted for him about 5 or 6 times now. But last year in Louisville, I specifically remember him saying that 3 things happen when you join the Alice Cooper band. Let me see if I can remember all of them. You're going to see the world. You're going to, I forget what the second one is. I know you're going to see the world. You're going to meet a lot of interesting people, something like that. And then you're going to get stitches. Because he said at the end of his show, you know, when he has Errol Flynn's sword and he's kind of, you know, doing his thing with it, he says sometimes people get a little bit too close. So he said every member of the Alice Cooper band has received stitches.
So what put you in Alice Cooper? Like, I'm going completely off the wheels here because I'm a huge Alice Cooper fan.
Sure.
So like how'd you get in Alice Cooper? Like, how old are you? Probably.
I'm 33 years young.
Okay, I believe that.
He asked a woman how old she was?
That's okay. I don't mind at all.
In standards like that, I believe if they ask me how old I am, I can ask the same. So it's not, I don't think it's rude to ask that.
I'm not offended at all.
Okay. So you're a big Alice Cooper fan. Did you ever watch Dazed and Confused?
I have seen Dazed and Confused, but I think what really made me fall in love with him was Wayne's World. We're not worthy, but yeah, there was. I went to go see Motley Crue's final tour, and Alice Cooper was the opening act. And after seeing him perform, which wasn't that long ago, it was only about 4 or 5 years ago that I saw him perform live, but I instantly fell in love. And it's not just because of his music, which is sensational. He is such a good, kind-hearted, humbled person that loves his fans and just loves life. And that's what makes me a fan of somebody.
He still tours, right? Like, he is like...
I just saw him last weekend, or 2 weekends ago. Yeah.
It's like the man is frozen in carbonite in off years. And then they saw him, and then, like, he comes back out, like... I mean, he's got to be, like, 70 years old. And he's still, like, he is hardcore. Like, I mean, he still tours, does everything.
Yep, and still does the conventions, and yeah, and he's amazing. And one of the coolest things about Alice at conventions is if you ask him to, he will draw you a picture of himself. So that's fun.
Oh gosh, I didn't realize that. And Bob works with him, and like I
love Bob.
Bob is good people. I got to pick Bob up at the airport because he works with David Howard Thornton from Terrifier.
Love Terrifier, love Damien Leone, and yes.
Oh, it's an amazing movie, and like that guy's going places. Like, I think he'll be a Kane Hodder, and like, I mean, you guys have Kane Hodder coming to Louisville this year too.
Yeah, we do. I asked for that panel, but it's at the same time as Mick, so we'll see how that works out.
Damn it! No, Kane is so awesome. Like, I watched him. We had a news crew come in and do a show at Scarefest because Kane is one of those guys that he can do a show in Louisville in March, do a show in this is Kentucky geography, can do a show an hour down the road the same month, and he will make a shitload of money, and people will always come see him. Like, stop. Like, he is so good with the fans. And we had a news crew come in, and we had him on a daily show in Lexington, and he put a guy in a friggin' chokehold.
Yep, I've been there. He put me in a chokehold too.
Yeah, it's just like a favorite thing to do. And like the guy totally freaked out, did not see it coming, totally lost his shit. Has not been back since.
Oh.
No, yeah, they will not come down there. I think they're afraid that Kane Hodder is going to choke them out.
It's an honor. It's a privilege to be choked out by Jason. Are you kidding me? Oh, wow.
People pay good money for that.
Yeah.
And, you can't totally like ignore it. Yeah, like that blew my mind. But like, actually, there's this thing that's going around now, especially in Kentucky, because it's like in 3 different places, where you can throw like axes. Have you ever seen, like, are you from Florida?
I live in Miami, yeah, born and raised.
Can you go someplace in Miami and pay to drink beer and throw sharp things?
No, I don't think so.
You can do that in Kentucky. So you can go and pay money to throw knives, axes, spears, and throwing stars, and get beer at the same time. And so we had Kane come over and do that with some of the guys last year, some of the VIPs. And,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How was he? Can he throw a good axe, I assume?
He was damn good.
I mean, I've seen Hatchet. Yeah, he can.
And if RA is listening to this, I hope he doesn't get pissed off, because like RA Mihailoff, he was in Texas Chainsaw. And apparently he had, RA, I'm sorry, can't throw an axe to shit.
Oh.
But you would think that he could. But no. I don't know where I totally got off tangent on that one.
That's fine.
Well, that's okay, because we are at the end of the interview time. Everyone, we've been speaking to Kid Cadet. Now, of course, she is the panel moderator for GalaxyCon Louisville and GalaxyCon everywhere else. Come to find out, it's.
You got to take a page out of her book real quick. So, Kid, is there something you can tell us that nobody else would know that you haven't told yet?
I missed the question. My thing just froze. Ask me one more time.
Is there something you can tell us that isn't common knowledge that you can lay out here for us?
In regards to what?
Oh,
You.
things was to do. People to open up was to ask them something that people don't know commonly. So like if they had like a tattoo of a Bigfoot on their back, or like something that people wouldn't normally know.
About myself?
Yes.
Oh gosh, something about myself. This isn't my natural colored hair. I don't know. This is a tough question. People normally aren't asking me the questions.
Such a tough. No, just something that isn't known to like the people that are listening and like on your social media. Like, what is something about you that they wouldn't be able to pick up from a website?
I made out with Aaron Carter when I used to work for Radio Disney.
Okay, that's good. It's not good, but
God.
There we go. There we go. Everybody, first, I do need to announce, what do you call yourself? MJ-AKF supporter. It's Mary Jane. Mary Jane, you have 2 $10 gift cards. I'll probably see you here real soon, so I'm not going to mail them to y'all. I'll hand them to you personally. But we do have a winner on Twitter. She kind of dicked up the hashtag, but she hit the tree. She just missed the target. So I'm giving it to her because I like to get this stuff done. But she did tag at the Scarefest with I Love GalaxyCon. Her just butchered the spelling is all. Anyway, we're going to do our final commercial break. Everybody stick around. We got a lot more stuff. I've left it up to our lovely guest whether she wants to sit through and watch the show or hang up and unceremoniously. But once again, Kid, hope to get to meet you next weekend, and it's been great having you on the show.
Thank you guys so much. I look forward to meeting you guys as well. We're going to make it happen. We're going to meet.
There you go. Look for Santa. Look for Santa.
Okay. I'm a Jew, but...
Akashic Awareness is a metaphysical healing and learning center unlike any other. A large selection of crystals, gems, and minerals greet you as you walk in the door, but from that point onward, the journey is yours. They offer a great selection of metaphysical tools, state-of-the-art holistic healing, with classes and lectures scheduled throughout the month. Akashic Awareness is open Tuesday through Saturday, noon until 6:30, 7 on Friday and Saturday. Visit their website for a current calendar of their almost daily special events and guests at akashicawareness.com. And while you are there, be sure to join their email list to stay current. Akashic Awareness, 328 Sycamore Street, Elizabethtown, Kentucky.
Hi, this is Cece Ann with Scarefest Radio and TV here in Baltimore, Maryland at the World Oddities Expo. I'm speaking with one of our vendors here who represents eelmonkeyart.com. Mary Beth is here to tell us about her amazing carnival dolls.
So they started out with a love of the old style carnival robot dolls, and we kind of just decided to expand, and then some of our friends had told us that they really liked the horror style dolls, so we expanded to that. We started out with Krampus as our first love. We love him, and then we sort of branched out from there.
Fantastic. These are really amazing. And so if you are interested in following Mary Beth on Instagram, it's going to be at eelmonkeyart, or you can find her wares online at eelmonkeyart.com. Thank you, Mary Beth.
Thank you.
Hello, Scarefest fans. It's Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly with another horror movie review. Hard to be really scary if you got an old crow medicine show hat on. But that's beside the point. This week, I wanted to do something other than Stephen King, but I don't know if you've noticed, there's several Stephen King horror films that have come out in the last few months. Not my fault. This one is called In the Tall Grass. Now, I actually haven't read the novella that it's based on, which was written by him and his son, Joe King. I've met him. He's a very nice guy. And I didn't know a lot about it, but here's why I was excited. Other than Stephen King. It was written and directed by a guy named Vincenzo Natali. Now, you may not know who that is, and that's okay. That's the cool thing about the way I review these things, or at least that's the way I like to do it. He's a director who gave me two of my favorite, one good film and one of my favorite films. One of them being Cube. If you've ever saw the original Cube, he directed that. And to talk about how creative he is because they only had the one cube and to switch it around is amazing to me. But he also gave us another film that most people have never seen, and I highly recommend it, with Adrian Brody, called Splice. Splice is a fantastic film with a wonderful character arc of both of the main characters. Now, that's not about this particular movie. I just want you to go out and see Splice. He also directed several episodes of the Hannibal series, which I also love. Here's what In the Tall Grass is about. You can get it on Netflix. You can watch it. It's not in the movie theater. That's where it came out on, Netflix. And hopefully most of you have Netflix accounts. In the Tall Grass is about this young woman who's pregnant and this young man, whom we later find out is her brother, are driving through, could be anywhere, Kansas, stop at an old church. They get out. There's tall grass, and they hear a little boy screaming, begging for help. And then they decide to investigate. And think Twilight Zone and Stephen King, and you're almost there, because everything goes to hell. There's another family that plays into this. The father, Patrick Wilson, famous actor. They get in there as well. The less I tell you, the better you are. And if you're looking for an explanation of why the tall grass is the way it is, or how you kind of get a slightly, not so much, not giving too much away, happy ending that isn't probably as well earned as it should be, well, I can't help that. But I do recommend, if you have Netflix, to check In the Tall Grass, because I liked it quite a bit. Now, did I love it? No. Is it the best thing I've ever seen? No. Is it the best movie by Vincenzo Natali? No. That's called Splice. We already talked about that, remember? But this is a good movie. It's very enjoyable to watch on Netflix on an afternoon. What is it you kids do? You Netflix and chill, and that's just where you sit around and watch Netflix and chill, right? Well, Netflix and chill while In the Tall Grass is playing on your TV boxes. This has been Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week with another spooky review. I'll stop with the bullshit. Thanks.
Hello there, DB Dornack, out here at the Scarefest with Louisville Halloween.
Hello, little ones. My name's Ophelia. Would you like to play with me?
I think they would. If you're interested, nod your head there. Nod your head. Good. So, what kind of games are you looking to play with them?
To better see everyone, like hide and go seek.
Ooh, and I think that possibly she's uniquely gifted at seeking. Look at all these eyes. And tell us a little bit about the art that was put into making this wonderful piece of artwork here.
My master created me from polyform. She sculpted this within a part of 6 months. And my sister, Ixnia, you can see her tomorrow.
Ooh, very nice. And what did you say that was called?
Polyform clay, children.
Polyform. I met a polyform once in college, but she wasn't interested. It is wonderful speaking with you, and I thank you so much for coming out and showing off this wonderful bit of cosplay that you have. And we've got a lot more coming up right here at Scarefest of Louisville Halloween.
G'day Scarefest fans, Glenn here from FakeShemp.net, here to bring a little bit of an Aussie flavour to Scarefest TV. Every time you see me, we're going to go back in time to look at some of those obscure films from down under, and then we're going to move forward to the present and look at something that's just come out that you might want to look out for. So for the first film, we're going to go back to 1979. This is an awesome vampire film called Thirst. The first bit of backstory you need for Thirst is that this movie came out at a time when the vampire genre had pretty much run its course. There weren't many films like it being made. The Hammer horror films from England had run their course. The American market was starting to shift on the way they told their stories. And so for us here in Australia, Thirst came at the right time. It was classic and yet fresh all at once. So it took the classic vampire lore or mythology, if you will, and gave it a whole fresh new take. The story is about a cult. Well, they kind of present themselves more of a day spa or a mental health retreat, if you will, where they recruit people by telling them that they've got a legacy. If you were just to wander into these facilities, you would see patients roaming the grounds with swimming pools and golf and all these kind of luxury, leisurely activities, but they're in a half comatose kind of state. Doctors walk amongst them in scenes that are really reminiscent of other films of that time, and yet the sinister underbelly of the story is that, of course, this is not a day spa. It is a cult that harvests human blood from its patrons in some very classic style. Anyway, that's the general gist of the story. The lead character is a woman who is told by the cult that she has a legacy left to her by her I guess, ancestor, a countess who was like a head vampire, and she's roped into this whole world against her will. She's unable to escape, but does she succumb to the power of the vampires, or does she not? I'm going to leave that for you to discover, because this is a movie you definitely want to track down. Unlike so many Aussie films from the 1970s and 80s, you know, which usually have a very Aussie kind of allure or appeal to them, this one is very international. Yes, most of them have Australian accents, but the actual production value and the production design is of an international standard. As with so many films from then, there's an international cast at play here just to sell the film to the international market. David Hemmings was a famous UK actor who made all kinds of movies both in America and the UK. He was in Gangs of New York, Gladiator, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and then there was Henry Silva, who is a classic American actor that you'd know his face. He was in things like The Manchurian Candidate, Above the Law, Dick Tracy, heaps of others. And so with those names blended in with the Aussie faces, you've got a really appealing film. If you're a real diehard kind of horror fan, you might like to know this one was produced by a guy called Anthony Ganane. He is a name synonymous with Australian exploitation. He produced almost everything that came out of our country that had blood, breasts, sex, violence. This guy was behind all of it, and his films are well worth looking out for. I guess what made this one stand out above the rest at the time was that in the 1970s, this concept of harvesting blood from people was new and fresh, and it was taking that kind of concept from Soylent Green, bringing it into the horror genre, putting the horror genre into the sci-fi kind of realms as well. And vampires at this point in time had never been presented this way, at least to my knowledge. But they certainly have in the years that have passed, and it's a concept that's done over and over these days. And the good news about this one is that you can buy Thirst on Blu-ray. It is a region-free title. So if you were to look it up online and find an Australian Blu-ray of this one, it's region-free. You can watch it on your players over there, but it's also released through Severin Films over in the States. I believe that these releases are basically the same. The content is identical. It might be the cover art that's different, so you can be in region-free. You can just pick and choose if you want to get it from Australia with, you know, this artwork, or perhaps you want the American artwork. You've got choice. And now to a brand new film that you're going to want to look out for. This one is called Two Heads Creek. It was directed by a guy called Jesse O'Brien. You may have seen his previous film called Arrowhead. Might have also been called Alien Arrival over there. It was a kind of low budget, sort of no escape type of story that had sort of hints of Snake Plissken throughout it. Wasn't a great film by any means, but Two Heads Creek is a very, very strong follow-up that recently premiered here in some of our film festivals, and hopefully it's going to make its way over to your shores, to some of your festivals. It's a classic fish out of water story, or I guess a city slicker tale about a British brother and sister who travel to Australia to a remote back-end kind of town in search of their estranged mother. Of course, when they get there, the town is full of weird people with a very kind of sinister underbelly that they're not quite sure of. There's a big secret going on and they're about to find out what that is. And of course then the movie is full of blood and gore and organs and gruesome stuff flying in all directions, but it is always fun, it's always frivolous, it's a very, very upbeat, quirky, comedic kind of film. It exploits those eccentric characters that you may recognise from classic Aussie cinema, and it kind of plays out like a funny yet grotesque take on the Wake in Fright story. Wake in Fright was a movie from the 70s about another British guy who gets stuck in a small town, and the nightmare of his experience is that he doesn't fit in and that everyone around him has ulterior motives. Probably a better comparison is the Oliver Stone film U-Turn, where Sean Penn gets trapped in a small town. It's that kind of thing. So it takes that story but throws comedy into it, throws blood, severed heads, severed limbs, disgusting stuff. It's delicious. So look out for it. Two Heads Creek. Hopefully it comes to America either on DVD. I don't think it'll get theatrical release, but it might get a festival release. So keep your eyes peeled for film festivals over there, particularly the horror ones. Two Heads Creek, brand new Aussie horror. It's good stuff. Cool, so that's it for me for now. Don't forget, visit me at FakeShemp.net where everything I do is. And I'll catch you next time, Scarefest TV, and back to you, Wes.
This transplant is not going to be easy, Brad. Necessary for you, given your problems are largely hereditary, but not easy. First, we're going to make a large incision in the chest cavity, 6 to 8 inches in length, for the heart removal. Then, we'll have to open your rib cage to access the heart. Now don't worry, you won't feel a thing. We'll have to keep you heavily sedated for several hours during and after the procedure. Next, we're going to remove your heart completely. All arteries and so forth will remain in place for the reattachment, just no heart. During this, there will be a small defibrillator/pacemaker device, keeping the blood flowing to and from the heart area. From there, we move into the reattachment stage of the procedure, where we will place the baboon heart inside your body. Then, we will do all the necessary attaching of arteries to the muscle. Once everything is reset in the chest cavity, we will administer a significant electric shock directly to the heart to start the pumping. Once we are satisfied with the heart's activity, we will close the rib cage and sew the incision. Of course, you understand that this sort of procedure is very rare, so we will need to keep you for observation for several days and nights. I hope that's okay. I know that this is a lot to take in, but I have complete confidence that this transplant will work. No more heart problems for you, for good. Not only do I believe it will work, I believe afterwards you will be a man transformed. Totally different, totally new. Now, any questions?
Yeah, could you repeat all of that?
You heading out?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, well, listen, if you can think of anything you need, anything at all, please don't hesitate to ask, okay?
Okay, I will. Thank you.
And, you know, when you're feeling like it, maybe give us a call, keep us in the loop on how you're doing.
I will.
Are you going to be okay?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the doctor said that this is just the thing for me, so I don't think my number is quite up yet.
Okay, well, good luck. We'll all be thinking about you.
I know, thank you.
Good luck, Brad. I'll be praying for you.
Thanks, James.
Good luck, Brad. Call us if you need anything.
Thanks, Katie.
Hey, Brad. This whole thing goes tits up on you. Can I have your coffee maker?
Oh my god.
Thanks, Chris.
What? Is that a yes?
Well, this is where I'll leave you, I guess.
You sure you don't want me to come in with you and just sit for a while?
Yeah, it'll be fine. They said they're just gonna take me straight back.
Well, okay.
Everything will be fine.
I'm just worried.
I know.
I'm sorry you inherited your dad's heart and not mine.
Yeah, well, you know, bad heart, receding hairline, poor vision. The old man won the genetic jackpot and he passed all his winnings down to me. Well, at least I can take care of the one that'll kill me, I guess. I guess I better be going.
I'll come check on you as soon as they let you have visitors.
Okay.
And I'll get somebody to call me and let me know when you can go home so you won't have to worry about that.
All right.
Everything's going to be okay.
I know.
I love you, Brad.
Love you too, Mom. See you in a couple days, I guess.
Okay, Bradley, tell me how you're feeling.
Not good.
Not good how?
Just not good in any way, really.
Well, all of your tests came back normal. Your heart function seems to be back to normal too. Well, better than normal, really. It's stronger than it's ever been.
Yeah, I mean, my heart feels better, I guess. It's just, I don't know, everything else feels wrong.
Wrong? How do you mean wrong?
Well, for the last 2 weeks since the surgery, I haven't been able to sleep. I feel confused all the time. Like, my teeth hurt. They're sore always. I itch everywhere all the time. I'm sprouting this weird black hair like all over my body. And it's like my legs suddenly don't work. Like they need help to kind of carry me along.
Uh-huh. Is that everything? Brad, it's important you tell me everything that's going on with you. Procedures like the one you had don't take place every day. We need to make sure everything's going well with your recovery.
Well, this probably isn't even really related, but I have been having some swelling.
Well, swelling is a normal side effect of any surgery, just as long as it's clearing up at its own pace.
Yeah, well, it's not. It's getting worse every day.
Okay, that is a concern. Where is the swelling?
My ass.
Beg pardon?
I mean, it's not even on my ass. It's like my whole ass. It's getting big and red. I mean, it doesn't hurt or anything, but it's just big.
And red.
Yeah, real red.
Well, that is definitely something to keep an eye on, so to speak. Look, everyone's body reacts differently to trauma, and you've had a lot of it in a small amount of time. What you need to do, and this is very important, is go home and get some rest. That's the most important thing to help you heal. I know you said you're scheduled to go back to work in a few days, but take more time if you aren't rested up, okay?
Yeah.
I'll see you back for your follow-up in 2 weeks. Everything is going to be fine, Brad.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'll call you later in the week. We'll get it set up, iron out all the details, and we'll be good to go. All right. Bye.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Yeah. Brad should be back today. I was thinking I would take everybody to lunch to sort of celebrate him coming back and the end of our performance evaluation.
That's still at 10 today.
Yes, ma'am.
Chris, can you clean some of this crap off of your desk before Larry gets here? I thought I told you yesterday.
Hi.
Hey, Brad's here.
Really?
At least I think that's Brad.
yeah, Brad, welcome back. How is everything?
Yeah, how are you feeling? Well, finish your breakfast and then let us know how things are going with you. Brad, everything okay over there? Okay then.
Hey, Glenn. It's James. Yeah, how are you, man? Good. As you know, I'm calling because it's the end of the fiscal year, and yeah, I know, it's crazy, right? 6 months just flew by. Anyway, here's what I wanted to talk. Glenn, could you hold on just a second? Hey, Brad, you okay? Can I do something for you? Glenn, I'm sorry about that. Anyway, the reason I was calling is we need to talk about these reports. Glenn? Glenn, I'm sorry about that. We really need to discuss these reports and just, can you not see I'm working here? Sorry about that, Glenn. I just need to get this. Can you stop, Brad? Jesus. Glenn, if it's okay with you, I need to call you back and we can talk about these reports. Brad! Glenn, I'm gonna have to try to call you back, okay? I'm sorry. Brad, come on!
Hey, Brad. Can I help you? Oh, okay. This is a lot.
Whoa, what's going on here?
I think he's grooming my hair.
Hey, Brad? Brad, can I talk to you for a moment? In private? Now? Brad?
What? Seriously, what? What is it? Oh, great, thank you. Oh.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to cleaning up the mess you made now. Wait, what are you doing?
What are you doing? What?
Oh, what?
Oh.
And that's gonna be a workers' comp claim, just so you know.
Brad, my office, now! Oh, shit. Larry's early. Chris, finish getting cleaned up. Let's get you in the bathroom. James, help me get him into the bathroom. We're just gonna keep you in the bathroom until we can get Larry gone, and you can come back out, okay? Get in there, I'll deal with Larry. Just help me pretend everything is normal, okay?
Got it.
Good morning.
Oh, hello, Larry. Mr. Tate, sorry. Good morning. Come on in.
I am in.
Right, of course you are.
What was that?
Sorry, it's kind of been a crazy morning.
Crazy how?
You know, hectic year-end stuff.
Stuff.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Right.
Well, you guess you want to get started, or?
Yes, and the sooner we get started, the sooner I can leave.
Okay, well...
what was that? Where is everybody?
We have some folks in the bathroom, but just come in and Katie is here. Katie, let's see. Katie, can you show what Mr. Tate, what you've been working on?
got shit in my mouth.
What did he say?
Chris. Oh, Mr. Tate. Hey, Mr. Tate, we need to talk about what just happened here. Katie, why don't you show Mr. Tate what you've accomplished this year?
I'm sorry. I tried to keep him in there.
What the hell is that? Oh, that's Brad. You know Brad. Brad hasn't been feeling well. Have you, Brad? Brad? Brad, what are you doing? Brad! What are you doing? What are you doing? Well, yeah, well, you just get to carry him around. I had that poo-poo thrown up.
Why is he doing this?
He's very creative. Brad's doing one of his creative exercises.
Get off me! What is the matter with you?
Brad, please. Oh, please, God, no.
Okay. I've seen enough.
Mr. Tate.
You can expect my evaluation by the end of the week.
Larry.
Probably by the end of the day.
Yeah, and I'll be over to talk about that workers' comp thing too, Mr. Tate. Brad. Oh, shit. Brad.
Brad, are you okay?
Okay, everybody get back. Let's give him some air.
I'll call 911.
Sweet. New coffee maker.
And I hope everybody enjoyed that. That was our feature presentation for the evening, BRABOON. That's actually very, very difficult to say. So everybody, Brandon stuck around through the movie to watch it again. That was one of the submitted to our film festival this year. We got Tony Todd. Brandon, how many? I realize we can't drop names, but how many more do we have loaded in the chamber to announce?
So rough, you're not counting toes. We've got 8 people that I think we'll be able to announce before January, and I'm super freaking stoked. It's gonna be people we haven't had before. It's gonna be people we haven't had in or fair mix. It's gonna be people we've never had before, or people we've not had in a very, very long time that people have asked for repeatedly. And so if you're on the fan page, you should be, because that is helping to guide our decisions this year. So I want feedback, and when we put out, hopefully, the way that it should work is that we put out feelers, you guys give us feedback, and that will help guide our decisions, because this is a show by fans, for fans, and so that's what we're doing.
And we embrace it fully. Now, everybody, if you're watching this any place except Facebook Live from the Scarefest fan group, you join the fan group. Go on Facebook, just do a search for the Scarefest Celebrity Horror Fandom Celebrity. What the hell? We got to change that tagline on here. The Scarefest Celebrities Horror Fandom and Halloween Expo, but it's facebook.com/group/scarefest.horror.paranormal. Join that group. A lot of good discussions going there, a lot of good memes, a lot of funny stuff. But that is where we draw a lot of the information for Scarefest on who we are approaching to come in 2020 and beyond. Everybody, this has been Scarefest Television. I hope you enjoyed the show.